So good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another potentially tragic bout of shenanigans as we play Voyager and Dark Ages Get a Finish game, where the packs have returned from their wonderful, fabulous raiding with fat loot and fat sheep and well, actually some reasonably fit people, because why would you take the ones that weren't useful for anything? And there has been partying, and your wife has been latched onto you, Arn, like a lamprey, throughout the entire process of the feasting, and the drinking, and the storying, and the after story shenanigans back at your hut and in every corner and maybe under the feasting table. Who knows? It's a problem. She's very single minded. She gets her head gets something in her head. But you have had a chance to have great food, all the drink you can handle, great stories, and God bless you have been allowed to sleep in. So Arn will wake in his hut. God knows how he got back there. Who knows if he even remembers half the night. But you will wake with your wife splayed across you, as it should be. First kicked half off the bed, smelling ever so fragrantly, like at least, ever so slightly damp doggo. The most compelling of perfumes. And yes, you wake to another fine early afternoon, probably. Let's be fair.
So, of course, sporting the new deal, damp dog, Aaron rolls off the bed, throwing his wife off the other side because she'll cope. He runs his hands through his hair pretty harshly, pulling it all back and letting it hang freely. The long, glorious blonde locks. Truly sign of any notable heritage Fenrir. And he stands and, of course, will begin to put on some form of clothing. Owen being Aaron. Yeah, he did. Well, as he affixes that belt, the slight rags and stuff to cover his legs and those fairly decently sized boots made of thick fur, he'll just grab his usual gear, the weapons and such. Not that he'll use them, but the fact that they're there just in case, and attach them to his hip. And just peer over the small bed of furs at his wife to see if she's all right first.
She has been forcibly ejected from the bed, and consequently, as a result, is now decidedly awake. Well, mostly awake, and rubbing at her face and head, because she too partook ever so generously from the whole feasting and the meeting, and was not even really properly coherent for the storying, and was way more interested in you than the tales, because that is just, she's your biggest fan. How can you blame her? So yeah, she has pulled herself up to sit, casting you a toothy smile, and probably actually, as you bow over to check on her, snagging one of the furs and just kind of flinging it at you as one would do in modern days with a pillow or something of the sort. But fuck pillows. This is the fucking Dark Ages.
Yeah, fuck pillows. We need some. Wait, what?
I don't know.
No,
don't actually fuck pillows. Please don't.
No.
Let's never do that.
Moving swiftly along. And, as he is assaulted by furs, of course, naturally he will pull them off and just kind of ball them off, just boom, launch them back. Smiling, jokingly. Of course.
Naturally. And she'll kind of smack it out of the air as it heads back for her, like you do. And go through the rigorous process of pulling herself up off the floor, because balance is a thing, but it's not a thing that she has in abundance at the moment. It's very possible, seeing as she is not made of the same stuff you are, that she has not worked her way through everything she drank the night before. And if the slow state of things outside the hut, you're not hearing the usual yelling and running around and just business as usual. It's definitely quiet out because, well, everyone and their mom is probably hungover, like all of them. So it is at least reasonably quiet outside. But you get to watch as your wife very stubbornly picks herself off the floor, shooting you a fond smile, of course, and probably eventually snagging a hold of one of your arms to use you as a prop so she can get around the bed or over the bed, and to at least, a tunic she can pitch over herself until she can go bathe. Because, fun fact, Vikings bathed more than almost any other culture in that day and age.
And of course, being the stone pillar, Fenrir himself, and will allow his wife, of course, to pull herself up. And as she pulls or covers herself up as such, she'll just smile at her. Still cannot hold your drink, man.
I can hold plenty of drink, just not quite as much as you. Pat, pat on the shoulder. But she will, still clinging tightly to the arm so she doesn't overbalance, especially as she goes up on tiptoes, will prop up to give him a kiss.
As she just kind of props up, she is swooped up straight away. Does that? She's not balancing very well. Fine, she not need walk. He picks her up and just full lamps it on her.
She does not protest in the least. She just kind of latches on, as she is prone to do. But will not go full bore into it, if only because, well, cold water on the face would be real good right now. As much fun as it would be to try to overbalance you right back into the bed.
The strong surge of "I am untamable" rings true. I think we will just kind of carry her through to the back of the tent, out the back of the tent, so to say, to where the watery, the springs are, so to say. Just gently put her down in safe kind of distance, so you didn't have to walk very far. You couldn't have fallen over. Thank Christ. Don't want that happening now, do we?
And yeah, she will cope better this time around when she's set on her feet, though she's still a bit wobbly. And she will manage to get far enough to get to one of the buckets or barrels that's set out to catch rainwater and splash it very liberally over her face, her head, probably eventually just upends it because it's summer. She'll be fine. It's not that fucking cold. Just fucking upends the bucket over her head, gives her now half soggy hair a shake, pulls some strands out of her face, shoots her grin. I am going to have a bath. You could come with me if you wanted.
Just
sly side eye.
Just the yeah. You see, he just that grin. It's like, what? He takes in a breath. Unfortunately, Mayor, I cannot. I have a meeting with my father. We need to discuss a few things.
And you will receive, admittedly, not the most earnest of pouts because, well, that's pretty solid reason. But there must at least be token pouting. But she'll give a nod and lean over for a bit, wait for her head to stop spinning.
And she kind of looks away, just be like, okay, that's happening. He, using all of his dexterity, darts up to her, takes her face in his hand and turns it towards him. But fear not, my love. I shall return.
Well, she looks alert all of a sudden. It's almost like she likes the fact that you're a psycho like her. It works out. Yeah, she brightens up. There's a bit of a fire comes back to her eyes. And she grins, gives a nod. Of course you will. Go see your father. I will be down at the springs.
And of course he'll let her go, smiling profusely, like, yeah, you will. And he will,
Paragon of maturity.
of course, begin to walk away. And as he does, because it's Aaron, he's just going to be like, those muscles on the back, just like, cracks the back, maybe flexing a bit too much because he fucking enjoys it, The guy's still a child, essentially. Fucking acts like it.
She appreciates the tickets to the gun show and leers openly as you go about your, just morning stretch, very casual process.
Yes, of course. Yes. Yes, the mighty Skull's vanguard must stretch before doing things. Yes.
Oh, there will be open leering, but you shall escape her clutches for now. And you will, as you're getting, actually finally starting to walk properly away, you'll hear her finally shifting around and starting to move off. Not quickly, not sharply, but just, kind of ambling off in the appropriate direction. With a, oh my, what a smile. It's hard to tell whether she's smiling about last night or smiling about what'll happen in the next hour or two, but oh boy, it's a smile either way. So you both make for a smug, slow-paced parade in two directions through the village.
Of course, and as Anne walked through, that posture, very stoic and built like a brick shit house. Essentially, he's an Arun. He knows what he's doing. He knows his job. He's like, yeah, I do it fucking well. Especially after what we did. Yeah, there was a feast. He won the overall challenge. Him and his pack, the mighty pack. Oh yeah, he's just kind of the head held high march almost. So he makes his way to his father's tent.
Yep, you will. As you're walking through, the kinds of things you'll see going on about the village. One moment. Oh, Lord. So, summarily, things you'll see going on. You're walking through, and you'll see, as much as it's kind of low-key, there's been a big celebration. There's a certain portion of what was brought back. In fact, there's some sort of pickings for the group that went out. There's pickings for the higher-end station. But you'll see that, like, over that away is one of the local families, one of the local kinfolk. In fact, off driving with a shepherd's crook, several of the sheep that they brought back. Another kinfolk walking off home down the trails with a lamb held over his shoulders. There is a slave chain with several of them. In fact, a good portion of them have been separated from the main lot and taken off in various directions. But essentially, it's a good day. It's low-key, it's slow, but people are dishing out what was gotten. And overall, like, the general air is one of content. You'll see over towards the docks and well, not even the docks, but over by the beach, you will somehow catch a brief glimpse of Dite in the midst of a crowd of, well, Astra may be able to attract the kinfolk if she really sets herself to it, but they've gotten used to the idea for the most part that she just kind of isn't interested. Dite is not quite so demanding on Bloodline, so there's a decent little crowd out there. You'll even perhaps at a distant spot Astra headed her way, kind of slipping through the crowd. And yeah, it's there's that. You'll see the tail singer, kind of just ambling along, pipe in full locomotion, leaving a cloud of smoke everywhere he goes. And you will amble towards your father's hut. Which, for once, he's actually inside instead of out, mediating something or someone.
Of course. And as, Aaron is making his way there, he will grab a few tankards, to say the least, filling them with mead as he's passing through their bits and pieces, just grabbing them and just kind of a bit, almost to say the least, a little bit Disney style.
You actually don't have any issue. You can Disney style it. You are the son of the beta of the set. Right.
And he just kind of grabs it, it's like, as everything's going about the business, kind of takes two, dunks them both in a barrel as he's kind of just walking along. It's like, yep, I'm doing this. And he'll appear, of course, in his father's cabin. Father!
Oh, God. Bless you. I can't with you sometimes. You will first, because your father is deeper inside, will see your mother moving towards the front. Admittedly, sans armor these days. She has put that life aside, but it's a pretty good, accurate representation of age, but still definitely a good bearing, good clothing, but definitely dressed to keep the home as opposed to go to war. And she will come around the corner with a smile because, well, it's Arn. How could she not? And will just kind of gesture you in the proper direction, though she will stop you long enough to grab you by the shoulder and make you bend down so that she can put a kiss on your cheek before you go in.
Oh, she doesn't even get the fucking chance. He kind of comes in and it's like, Father! Like, hello, I'm here. She comes around the corner, he looks, he's like, Mother!
Oh, God.
And he will go and just kind of, as she comes up around the corner, he makes his way and he just picks her up. Just like, yes! Kind of clashing the tankards behind her back a little bit. Spilling it a little bit, but it's kind of like, doesn't give a shit.
Oh. And yeah. Especially when it's the very joyous mother. It's, oh, my son. And, the open arms, she doesn't mind that you scoop her up. You've gotten big enough to carry her instead of the other way around ages ago. And she doesn't seem to especially mind. She knows that she's a perfectly capable woman, regardless of whether or not you're strong enough to pick her up. So she will still hook an arm around your neck, and with a surprising strength will pull up to plant a kiss on your cheek, because you are, after all, her beloved son. And will let you carry her through, gesturing you the right way to find your father, who is set in the the biggest part of the hut is probably the dining hall, the dining area, with a big fireplace that's currently cleared out. The ash has been swept out. It's the warmer part of the year. But your father is there, set at the head of the table, looking somewhat thoughtful, dishes set aside, and just kind of stroking idly, thoughtfully at his beard, mulling over something or other, though he will look up as you enter and rouse up with a grand smile and open arms. Sadly, you will have to put down your mother in order to also hug your father, unless you're planning to smush her in the middle.
Oh, no, he does. He puts her down, still clasping onto those two tankards. And as he sees his father, he downs them both. Slams them upside down on the table. And, even just lets out that roar, like, Father! Just goes up to it, just clamps onto it. That's that Fenrir's strength.
That Fenrir like clench and the back padding that
Yeah.
probably could dislodge things if you really that stamina though, thank God.
Right, tough as nails. Tough as nails.
The two of you proceed to go into a very manly hug and back patting.
Yes.
Half strangling, like you do.
And, as Aaron finally loosens up, he will actually come back a bit and show proper respect to his father, giving a deep kind of bow, submission, of course, to the beta of the sept.
And of course, he lets you do the whole thing, but I assume you don't just linger in it needlessly.
Oh,
if
no.
you do, you'll get a bit of a shove. Playful one.
Oh, no, he just kind of like bows, like, yes, I know you're Frank. But so, as he kind of stands up, Father, how have you been?
With tales of your conquest. Very well, my son.
That big toothy grin comes back as he's just like, yes, yes. I did not think it would long till you heard. I am sure Astra has already been in and told you the stories, no?
Of course she has. Of course. What else would a dutiful sister and dutiful Galliard do?
Precisely. She is fantastic at her job.
And there is no doubting it.
As much as I am unrivaled in mine. That kind of grin as he looks off rather stokely, like, yes, I did well. I know I did.
Ha!
Even for a Cleith.
He grins and gives his head a shake. He's not going to correct you. You're his kid. He needs you to be full of all of the fucking... God damn it. I can't. Words today. But yes. Just full of pride and confidence and blah. God, I can't word right now. I'm done. But yeah, he doesn't do anything to hint at humility. And if nothing else, gives, with one big, kind of calloused hand, smacks the table a couple times pretty solidly to encourage you to sit, and flops back into his own chair. Your mother, meanwhile, has made off with his morning dishes and even snagged the tankards while you looked away for a moment, and has absconded. At least for now.
Of course. He will take a seat next to his father, pulling it out and almost throwing himself down to kind of poof, as the big man that he is. He's not really huge, but he's still it's as tall as he is wide. That's just sheer not muscle definition, but it's there. He's a stocky fucking guy.
He is big. Not enormous, but he is definitely big. He is a Get Fenris and a Rune in his prime. If he was anything but big, we'd be kind of worried, really. So he flops his monolithic form down in one of the chairs. Your father, not quite so enthusiastically, sets himself back down in his. Sitting back comfortably at ease. This isn't some sort of official thing. This is family, after all. And he'll pick up a hand, gesturing to you. So tell me. I heard that you and Breaker of Men made a bit of a wager, and even losing the wager, you still made out best on the loot.
Yes, fine swing she has. There's no doubting that now. But alas, it's not always in the swing, Father, as you know. About what you do with your situation. Adapt, evolve, endure. Retributions, after all.
Indeed we are. And for all that you may have let her win a test of strength, you have still proven that you are a cunning leader by taking the lion's share, even with second pick.
Precisely. For leading not only strength, but in mind and in heart do we truly conquer.
Sorry, I'm braining. I hear you took it down to ashes. Left a message behind for those who might think of retribution.
Of course. Sending a message. More of a group decision, but alas, a fantastic one at that. The pack agrees. We executed it. Burn it down to ashes. Send a message that these are our lands and we are coming for them. So they may prepare. So they may train. Send proper soldiers. Something worthy killing for Fenrir rather than peasants.
A waste of good skill to have to cut down the unworthy.
Exactly. But alas, it must be done. For only a message in blood will be truly answered.
Just so, my son. Now I saw that some of what your what this Smoke and Feathers pack returned with as their share of the spoils. They have traces of scent. There are kinfolk among them. Did you see none of the affiliated crew?
No. We faced no resistance other than mere man. And those kinfolk that were mixed in. Unfortunate for them, but alas, we saved them from their mortal coils. The ones that were fit, of course, we brought back here. To a true nation.
And truly you're a cunning leader indeed, to strike so quickly that the potential enemy could not so much as muster defense against you.
Well, you did teach me well, father.
He gets to a little bit of that cocky beard stroke again. True enough, son. Your sister thinks that I should perhaps ensure that on the next raid, it is you who leads the combined packs that go to strike. What think you of this?
Father, your decision is your own, of course. I merely lay before you the deeds that I have done. What I have done, leading, fighting for Fenrir, for this sept, for our family. Astra understands. She knows. Of course, we both have our strengths. She seems to think that I am a valiant leader, then who should it be? For I am Skull's vanguard himself. Spear tip. Chasing that lunar.
So you are. Look, a hand slams down on the table very decisively.
I don't even think there should be a choice.
Your sister spoke too. The words of your fellow Cleiths.
Oh?
Did you sense discord or ill intent in any of what was said on that long ship?
Ah.
Or was it the talk of a sore loser?
From what I saw, it was nothing overly biting. You know how Astra can be when somebody questions her, and rightly so.
Your sister is quick to raise her hackles.
Would you not if you were questioned in such a way? Your honor as a Fenrir.
Was her honor brought into question? Was
Ah.
yours?
If my honor was brought into question, father, that man or woman would not have left that boat unscarred.
Just so, my son.
But alas, it was mere banter. Heated arguments. And now Astra's blood does boil. But rightly so. The Theurge spoke out of line. Only natural for a Galliard to tell the true tale and how to shut them down.
And he's still thoughtfully stroking his beard, still looking, well, more than anything, kind of smug, pleased. All in all, Daddy Dearest is liking everything he's heard this morning. It looks like he was hardly in a bad mood when you came in, whatever Astra has told him. And to all appearances, if there was any concern, any deepening to the lines on his brow, it has lessened.
I mean, surely if you think it was that damning, I would have stepped in. Me and Astra fight side by side. We always have.
You balance each other well. Keep a check, my son, on her temper. Be careful to remind her when it is time to let blood and when it is not.
If she comes near to the line, father, I shall remind her.
He gives a nod. Your sister is your keeper, and you are hers. I will not hear of it being any other way.
Kind of raises his arms up like, well, of course. Like, yeah.
This is a firm nod. Look at your shit.
Oh.
Ugh.
Look at my shit, huh? Huh?
Yeah, I am. Trying to remember all your stuff. And after a bit of a pause, some more idle beard stroking, as he seems contented with your answer, your acceptance. Your sister tells me you have some sort of cunning plan. I know she's never taken well to your wife being quite so firmly underfoot.
Yes. Yes. Of course, as you know, Father Maya is a fine specimen.
If she was not, I would not have blessed your union.
Fantastic. Bloodthirsty. Oh, and brutal. I do fear for her, though, Father. I fear that one day she may overstep the line on the battlefield and die before duty. Alas, that is where my cunning plan comes into play. Smirks.
And what manner of cunning plan you think will take a shield maiden from her place in the front lines?
He stands up and kind of opens his arms. What do you think, Father? Putting one in her gut.
And he goes back to the beard stroking. He definitely, like, barely stifles a good chortle. Bit of it escapes. Something of a snort. He is an old and hardened man, but doesn't mean he can't have himself a laugh.
And, Aaron's just kind of that goofy smile of, yes, yes.
I will hardly oppose a plan that gets me a grandchild.
Precisely.
After all, I love your sister dearly. But if I were to wait for her to bring in the next generation, I fear I would be in Valhalla by time she succeeded. And never
Have
see
no
that
fear.
child with my physical eyes.
And have no fear, Father. I shall take this upon myself.
Just, good man! Another thump on the table.
He's just like, yes, I shall breathe. Oh, God. Of course. Child conceived in blood. Most ferocious of all. Ah, Maya does like the blood.
And he'll finally kind of give a shooing motion. Go on and see to it. It has been long enough.
Of course, Father. Cannot keep her waiting too long. He just kind of swaggers out like, yes. And as he kind of swaggers out the tent, it's like, haha, that pride just kind of, it's all over his face. He will just have a quick look over to Dite. Is she still surrounded by kinfolk?
It seems as you come back out that she's moved from where you left her. But as you're looking, the kinfolk have kind of dispersed and gone about whatever morning chores they can handle, repairing nets and whatnot. The Skolson brothers, for some reason, have some poor hapless motherfucker that they're kind of like grade school shoving between them back and forth, bullying around. He probably talked to Astra. This is pretty normal for them. And as you're kind of scanning around, you'll eventually see her puttering through the village by her onesies, having parted ways with your sister.
And of course, as he sees her in the village, he just looks at her and full volume, just, Dite!
And Dine has again been pausing, smiling. She knows many, many of the kin about the village and beyond. Her family is enormous. But as you fucking howl across the village, of course her head pops up. You catch the glint of the golden eyes and a broad grin. And she'll kind of shoo off whichever of the kin is talking to her at the moment and go ahead and start heading your way.
Gonna say, as soon as she kind of turns and looks, probably her vision's blocked by a few K. She just kind of shoos them out the way. She just sees Aaron full, like, arms outstretched, full charge towards her.
She braces properly as if she's intending to grapple him the second he makes contact. She knows she always loses these, but you gotta make a show of it.
Oh yeah, he just swoops in and just, like, clamps onto her waist and just lifts her up and spins around.
And yeah, she just is woofed up into the air, grinning broadly still. She is far more tousled than her picture. Her braids have all been let out. She had as wild a night as anyone last night. So she's still a bit disheveled. But all toothy smile and glinting golden eyes when finally you whisk her around and, in theory, probably plop her back down. I would hope.
Oh, of course. It's just the one kind of clamp. Up we go, spin, down.
Yep. She, plops back onto her booted feet with a thump. And she is not as bad off as your wife, but there's a moment that half second of overbalance that's corrected pretty swift-like, but man, it was a night last night.
And he puts, his hands on her shoulders and just looks her in the eyes like, Dete! How is my theurge?
She, of course, picks up her own hands and admittedly has to reach a lot higher than you, but plonks them on your shoulders. Well and good, Arn. Well and good.
Excellent! Would not have it any other way, although you're showing your delicacies and being weak with the mead. This just kind of like spins her a little bit.
Delicacies? Just mock affront.
Spins her just to see if she stays on balance.
She is spun, and again, as you get to a stop and she can kind of put her foot back down, there's that half second of teetering a little too far. Though it's corrected reasonably fast. Though there's a kind of a brief like it's swear she goes green for just a second. Like, oh god, the spinning, so much spinning. Why do you have to hurt me like this? Just no. Fucking corrects herself, pulls herself up again, kind of gives her head a shake.
You see? Went a little overboard, did we?
And she gives your chest a very fond kind of like, but still solid punch. We can't all be made of nothing but meat.
So it's just a big grin of, I'm right. Of course I'm right, I'm Aaron.
She takes it on the chin. She's still grinning. For all that, yeah, you done proved your point.
So I hope you enjoyed yourself and indulged in the festivities. A glorious victory, of course.
There is that fleeting, essentially, the eyebrows give like a bit of a wag, and she like pitches a glance back over to the beachfront where several of the Skulson brothers have moved on. The poor fucker they were shoving around has flopped down next to the others as they're all chatting and picking up various things that need mending, fixing, ropes that need to be reknotted, braided, what have you. But yeah, she casts a glance back like, oh yeah, I have fun. And look at them all.
She just turns and looks, it's like, just that grin just like appears on his face, even wide, just like, you dirty bitch. Internally, of course, he would not say that. He likes today. A lot. Because, damn it, look at her. Those shining eyes. I can't tell what color they are, but they're shining. They're shining.
They do. They have that weird kind of it's not a constant thing, but kind of like when you the candlelight or torchlight hits, the back of Lupus's eyes just right and they glint. She's kind of got that going when the sun hits them just right or when light hits them just right 24/7.
Of course.
You may not see the color, but
sunlight glances off his oiled chest just right.
It's like a flash. It's blinding.
Of course.
Glorious.
Exactly.
Oh no.
Exactly.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to have any reservations about it. She just kind of gives a glance back and it's like, yeah.
I'm glad. So very glad. It's always nice to see taking and enjoying yourself out of the battle. Being so hard and so cold.
Oh, say that again?
You don't have to be so hard and so cold. Let the heart live.
I would hardly be a proper child of Drake without a fire in my belly. She gives you another, softer this time, but another kind of thump right in the gut. I mean, knowing the way they dress and all, he probably even has a kidney belt there. So it's just some pressure, but it's still just kind of a thud.
You know what it is? You know what he's wearing? Because I can. It's basically whatever year this is version of the championship belt.
Yeah, big ass kidney belt.
It's a big ass fucking kind of tooth and fur buckle thing on the front of it. It's covering most of it, like pretty much half of his stomach.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Got fine tooling on it. All sorts of little bits and pieces and trophies and baubles hanging off of it. He's got a drinking horn on there.
Yeah.
Weaponry, all sorts of good shit.
Yeah, it just kind of sticks it on.
He just kind of what?
Just sticks it on. It's, Aaron's not a craftsman. It's just kind of like, this will go here. Stab through it.
Thankfully, most of the things come with belt loops.
Exactly. When you just have that many knives, you just got to make your own. And, well, just knives make good cutting holes. So if I cut a hole here and here, I'm just going to weave it through that.
There's a leather craftsman somewhere who's weeping blood because you decided the best course of action was to stab through their work.
Aaron is not a smart man.
You are now a porcupine. Congratulations.
So
but yeah, she gives you the thump right in the front of that kidney belt.
What news do you have? If any news at all, anything to say, to share?
Feathers and smoke, and we have reported to the Wormfoe. We'll have another mission soon. We're to take our ease and enjoy our spoils. The Tale Singer, I believe we'll have a fresh story tonight for the Cleoths. There's a smug look on that. Fire Drake is pleased, but in our future raids, we will have to set a portion aside, lest during the harvest, when we are needed here, he becomes discontent.
But I declare, you see, the next raid will be even more bountiful than the last.
Better be.
It will be. Trust. Have faith. Those we will drive through their land until we get what we deserve.
She kind of issues a snort. There are a few things that Theurge has more of than faith.
You see? This is why I like you so much today. You understand. You get it.
Of course I do.
You see, not like some of these others.
These others.
They're a bit flimsy. But you punches her on the shoulder.
Oh, yeah. And he punches a lot harder than she does, but she kind of, reels back a bit with it and You know, it's heavy enough that it can shake her body back, like force her back a step, but
So you
she's
are made of fine iron.
saw that slip there.
I almost said steel. It's like, that doesn't exist yet.
Fire and iron, indeed. She kind of shrugs her shift around a little bit, gives her shoulders a roll. Kind of that. Yep. Everything is still working order. Sweet. And what about you, Arn? What have you done with yourself? How long have you even been upright?
Kind of like raises up, looks up, stoically, thinking, frowns, that kind of think. I am thinking pose.
A deep thought.
At least. I don't know. Not very long.
Your wife only walked past so long ago. Pat, pat. She was clearly ready to call you. She was clearly ready to call you the fuck out if you lied.
Just kind of like walked past.
Did you expect her to get where she was going some other way?
Just kind of looks at her like, yeah, you know what I mean.
Shakes her head. Strange as though it may be, I did see her without you attached. It was shocking. I almost thought I was sleepwalking.
Well, fear not, today. I am here in my bountiful, glorious hallway.
Bountiful glories indeed.
Alas, I ask a question of you.
And what is that, my alpha?
Does he kind of puts his arm around her, and begins to lead her off a little bit out of the middle of the little bit of the path in the middle of the huts. You see, I have a slight issue. Very minute issue.
And what is that, glorious alpha? She has a very amused look. She clearly doesn't expect it to be something serious.
See, this issue is rather grave, dire, in fact.
And how can I aid you, my alpha?
I never thought you'd ask today, but alas, you have, so then it must be so. Is there anything you can do that might aid in the procreation? Smiles.
The eyebrows kind of pop up for a second. And she cracks the fuck up. It is too early. She has only just started to shake her hangover. She wasn't ready. She literally like bows over, snickering, covering her mouth, and just kind of dying. And as she's like kind of gasping for breath between bouts of giggles, kind of goes, "Are you sure you're putting it in the right hole?"
Today, please. I'm not that fucking stupid.
Some of these men are made more of enthusiasm than than educated intent.
I thought I would ask. It's about time.
She turns a thoughtful glance up. And you can tell she's actually mulling over this or that. Are you sure you want to sew a child midsummer?
Well, I'm more thinking other options. Not saying I'm going through with it. I just want the options. Know all my bases. I cannot form a most cunning of plan without knowing all the information available to me. Of course, you being one with the spirits, you would know such a thing. I hope. Kind of the grin of, huh? Huh?
She's got a certain knowing look. I will consult the spirits on the matter, Arn. Just for you. Your wife is almost as potent of blood as you are. And with the frequency with which the two of you latch onto each other, I'm amazed she hasn't several times already conceived.
Just kind of shrugs, just like,
Kind of looks over at him. The eyes narrow a bit. Are you so sure she hasn't?
I have no idea. I don't know how to check.
She fucking falls out again. Just the very bold, I have no idea. Generally, one consults a theurge on the matter.
So this is what I'm doing. You see, Dete, the theurge I trust the most have my back in every situation. Will you? Of course, keeping it on the down low.
Do you expect me to check your wife for a child without her noticing?
Can you do it?
Without her noticing?
Can you do it?
Potentially.
Then make it so.
Just throws you the weirdest side eye. Like, why would you? It's very clear that why would you do that though?
What is that? I mean, I don't fully know the process, and honestly,
Why would you wish her not to be aware?
scratches his chin, thinking. Looks up. That gaze, that upward gaze of stoicness. You know what? Scratch that. She must know this, of course. Yes. I have formulated a new plan.
A new plan, my alpha.
Mm-hmm.
Do tell.
Forget the sneaking. Just do it.
Think I'll there's a glance towards the side of the village where there are, in fact, there's fresh water running down to the sea. I think I'll let you get there first. Maybe check after you're done.
The smile appears on his face as he just leans in. You see, Dete, this is why you are my theurge.
Because I can tell when your wife is horny.
Oh no. Because you know exactly what to say. Your wisdom knows no bonds.
Would hardly do to be bonded in a pack with you. Another thump, this time on the shoulder.
But if you were not in a pack with me, you would not be so entertained.
I cannot call you a liar on that front. I certainly would not.
See?
Between you and Astra, I will never lack for something to do.
You see, your life would be boring without myself, and even more so without my sister.
Have you seen Kara this morning at all? Kind of finally blinks and looks, kind of glances askance around the village.
That strange little bird man. No, I have not.
She just kind of gives her head a shake.
He is
Strange.
weird, but I do like him.
She just kind of pulls in a breath and looks up at him like, I bet you do.
What?
Essentially, like, yeah, of
What?
course you do.
What? Are you saying
I
that I do not like him?
Oh no, I am sure you're very fond of him, my alpha.
He understands what it means. The weight, the responsibility of doing what needs to be done. Even
He's
if he is.
also depressingly good at his job, so I can't very well tell you to pitch him over the side of the boat.
No, it was when he fails, then we shall pitch him over the side of the boat. And drag him to the depths.
There's kind of a nod, like, yeah, that sounds legit.
But until then, his use. His use is very useful.
If nothing else, you might get him to keep an eye on Runa and on that pack through her.
And what? I like the sound of that plan, Dite. A cunning plan indeed.
Yeah, finger comes up and kind of touches her temple before pointing to him, like, yeah, gotcha. That wisdom, though.
You see, no bonds. And smiles like, yes, yes. I'm not a psychotic piece of shit or anything.
Not at all. She doesn't see right through your shit.
See, what shit? There's nothing to see through. He's totally serious.
Her clever alpha. So cunning. So cunning. But man, is he charismatic.
Damn right he is. He just smiles and he puts his hand out for her to clasp it.
Absolutely.
So it is done then. You will check my wife for babe.
Indeed I will, mighty alpha.
Excellent. Yes, and she should know. Yes, of course you should. Yes.
I should think it would be very complicated if she didn't.
It's kind of nods like, yes, it would. Like, I don't know. I have no understanding of what happens. I just put it in.
I just do my thing and then baby.
Yeah. Yeah. I just put the baby in her. It's just you to do the rest.
Oh my god. She finally shakes her head. It's like, well, that is... Whew. This has been a conversation, my alpha, but your wife is, in fact, horny. And whatever else I may be to you, I can certainly tell. So why don't you, She will catch something if she stays too long in that river. And I don't think she's leaving till you get there.
Again, just the smile on his face. So be it. I shall see you soon, Dite. But until then, I thumps her on the shoulder.
She takes this one better. Doesn't stumble back a step from the sheer force.
See, your balance is already retaining itself. Excellent.
The hangover cure is foul. But it's a strong Talon.
Soon you should be able to just ride off the sheer stamina within your muscles.
Glances down at herself. Looks up at him. There's a pointed height difference here.
Smiles.
Surely, as you have said it, so it will be, my alpha.
See, as he starts to walk off, now I just think you're humoring me.
Never.
I know I sound
Big,
like an idiot.
big toothy smile.
Like, just kind of finger wags behind him, like, I know I sound like an idiot. But entertaining one at that.
Very much so, my alpha. Wave.
And yes, of course, Aaron will make his way to that river. For one purpose and one purpose only.
Unspeakable things happen on that riverbank, in the river, on the other side of the river. Who knows? Unspeakable things. Oh, is there anyone else you would like to accost with your charming presence?
Oh, I think leaving it at a fade to black of Aaron doing his thing is beautiful.
It is. It's just fabulous. And then you will smell so fresh and so clean, but mostly like wet dog. And with that, I think we will end this scene. Thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching.